All right. Evil Dead ranged weapon tier list. Few things before we get started. First of all, I should have started my last video with this, but I'll start this one with it. The link to this tier list will be in the description below. So if you're interested in making your own tier list and sharing it either in the comments of this video or with other people, that'll be there for you. Also, ranged weapons are going to be a little bit different from melee weapons because I think all ranged weapons are viable. Melee weapons have, you know, a few weapons where it's just like you never want to pick that up for the most part. Like, I don't think you ever want to pick up the spear if you can help it, if you can find anything else. I don't think that's the case with this. I think all these guns can be good in certain situations, and if you're spec'd into guns with your class, then all of them can hit really hard. So a lot of this is just going to be personal preference rather than, you know, in my last video, you could look at like the meat cleaver being a straight downgrade of the machete, with the exception of two guns. And even in that case, it's not a complete downgrade. There really isn't anything like that in this. All the guns are very different because they have different mag sizes. They have different range. They have different rates of fire. They have different damage. They have different dismemberment. Like, there's so many factors at play that it's just going to come down to personal preference. My time spent using hunters and messing with ranged weapons and deciding what I like and what I don't like. So that's what this tier list is going to be based off of, is personal preference. We'll do the same thing as last time. We'll go from the bottom up. First things first, worst gun in the game, saw gun. Again, someone's going to come out and be like, well, it can actually be pretty good, Sledge. I'm sure it can. The reason I don't love the saw gun is, first of all, it's really hard to hit shots with it. It is one of, I believe, two weapons that are not hit scan. One of two weapons that is a projectile and has travel time. That makes it really hard to hit shots. It's especially hard in a game like this where there's oftentimes a lot of latency. It's hard to hit headshots. Headshots are a big deal in this game. You got to hit your headshots. And it's going to be really hard to do that with a projectile weapon on a moving target that can, and a lot of times, like if it's a boss, they can move in a way that's kind of unpredictable where it's hard to hit their head. So that really knocks this down. And then the damage on it is really poor. I know that the reason for that is because it has a little bit of a faster fire rate and it has a 6-round clip. I still don't think it's very good. It's just, it doesn't do enough damage. It doesn't have enough range. The range is piss poor. And it's too hard to hit because it's a projectile. And speaking of projectiles, I think the crossbow's in D tier. That's another one that I know a lot of people are going to freak out about. Because I think the thing that's kind of happening right now is a lot of people are starting to really fall in love with Ed Getley. And he has an ability built into his character that makes him a specialist with the crossbow. And so I think a lot of people are starting to like the crossbow for that reason. It does the most damage in the game, which I didn't realize. It does even more damage than the boomstick, as you can see. It does 10 more damage. Now, it has really bad dismemberment and balance bar damage, but it does have good range. It has really poor fire rate, though. And the worst part of it is, like with the saw gun, very, very hard to hit. This is probably even harder to hit than the saw gun. I tried using it. The way that the bolts on this thing travel is just so inconsistent and weird. Like, if you could get good with the crossbow and get to the point where you could consistently hit headshots with it, and I know I'm probably going to get at least one comment of somebody who's like, you're just bad. I hit a headshot every time because I'm elite. I'm an elite gamer. Me, I can't hit headshots with this thing. It's too chaotic. The travel time is weird, and I think the gun sucks because of it. I just don't personally like it. I'd rather use one of the hit scan weapons. After that, I'd say it's The lever action rifle. The lever action rifle is certainly not a bad weapon by any means, but it just doesn't do a lot of damage. And if you are going for a gun that has a high rate of fire and low damage, I think there's better options out there. Again, not a bad gun. And none of these guns are bad, especially if you could hit your shots. But it does have good range. So it's an okay weapon. It's just not what I would prefer. Like if I'm going to pick up a rifle, I'd rather have the hunting rifle than over the lever action personally. I think big damage is usually, with the exception of one case, big damage, slow rate of fire is better than low damage, high rate of fire. So yeah, there's not much more to say about the lever action rifle. I'd put it right about there. Next, I would say the shotgun. This is just the regular shotgun, the pump. It's a good gun. The problem with it is that if you're gonna bring a close range weapon, bring a close range weapon that's gonna do crazy damage. And I think lower mag sizes are really good in this game because all the hunters, who are the classes you want to use for ranged weapons, all of them have a perk in their tree that makes it so the last bullet in your clip does extra damage. So that means the sawed off and the double barrel are going to be better because they deal more damage, and you're going to get down to that last bullet in your clip more often. So the shotgun kind of feels like a weapon where if you're someone who misses a lot, or if you're somebody who doesn't necessarily have a lot of ranged damage and you want to use the shotgun as like a secondary bailout weapon to get rid of trash mobs, the shotgun's probably a pretty good option for you because of the bigger clip. After that, I would say I'd probably put the double barrel here. Double barrel's a tough one to rate too because it can be very good. I know it could be very good on Evil Dead 2 Ash. I've been maining Evil Dead 2 Ash recently for a video that's coming up. And he obviously specializes in the double barrel and starts with one. And the double barrel could get really crazy on him. I know that. It's not that great. And the crazy thing is that I had no idea, but it's basically a straight downgrade from the boomstick. This is the one thing I was talking about in terms of something being a downgrade of another weapon, kind of like how the meat cleaver is a straight downgrade of the machete. The boomstick does 240, so it does more damage than the double barrel. It's got the same rate of fire, same dismemberment, same balance bar, same reload times, and only 1.6 less range. So you'd think, oh, the boomstick, it's a sawed off, so it's going to do more damage, but it's going to have a lot less range. That's not really the case. It does do more damage, but it has barely any less range. Now, at the same time, it does barely any more damage. It only does 8 points more damage, but it also only has 1.6 less range. So they're kind of, it's not a straight downgrade, but I would put both of them on the same tier. I think they're both B tier. Shotguns could be really crazy if you can land nothing but headshots on the guy with your pellets. If you just run up to a boss and barrel stuff them and land nothing but headshots, it gets pretty crazy. But usually it's not great for like general mobbing, I don't think. It's gonna blow through your ammo really fast, and like, I don't know, it's just not, it doesn't have very good range either, so it's not great for hitting mobs that are far away. And if you're playing against Necromancer and they have a Flautist, you're going to be in trouble because you're not going to be able to hit him with a double barrel from a distance. After that, I would probably put the pistol up here in A tier. That's probably a controversial one because it's very, very low damage. It is the hunter's knife of the ranged class. The reason that I put it up here is because the fire rate is so stupidly high and it has 7 ammo capacity. You can afford to miss shots, and the reload time is quite low. So you can afford to miss shots. And the main draw of the pistol And the reason I have it in A tier and why I think it's so good is its ability to stun lock possessed teammates. That's why it's so valuable. Like, if you don't have like an Evil Dead 2 Ash on your team and you have a ranged person on your team, so let's say you have a Kelly, but you don't have an Evil Dead 2 Ash, and your Kelly does a lot of damage, you're going to need someone on your team with a pistol because there's going to need to be somebody who can check Kelly if she gets possessed so she doesn't wipe your whole team. And the pistol can stun lock her so she can't do anything. And it'll do enough damage that if you use all 7 bullets, empty the mag into her, you'll probably knock her out of the possession. So that's the main draw of the pistol, and the fire rate is so high, that's why you can stun lock her as easily as you can. So that's why I would personally put the pistol in A tiers, purely because of how helpful it is for protecting yourself against possessed teammates. After that, I would put the revolver up there. The revolver, just a great all-around gun. I mean, look at this. Look at the saw gun. It does as much damage as the saw gun. It has the same ammo capacity. Little bit slower rate of fire, but, you know, better range, better reload time. Just a great gun. Just a great all-around gun. Amazing hitting headshots with this thing. Great for taking out the flautist. It's just a really good gun. Like, it's just super solid. It's probably the gun you want to use on Amanda at the moment this video is being made, because the pistol is apparently bugged on Amanda right now and is not doing the damage it's supposed to. So the revolver is really solid, and the other reason it's very good is that handgun ammo seems to be very easy to find, but more importantly, it comes in bigger stacks than special weapon ammo does, and you can carry more. So if you use a revolver as your primary, you're probably going to be able to use it for the whole match on even basic mobs. You can just headshot everything in one tap stuff if you're a hunter. And you probably won't run into any ammo issues. So the revolver is really good for that reason. After that, I would put the hunting rifle in A tier. Hunting rifle, I love the hunting rifle, dude. It does 235 damage. Crazy damage. Best range in the game at 50.0. 200 dismemberment damage. And only a 2 ammo capacity, so that basically means that if you have that perk that, you know, ups the damage on the last bullet in your clip, it's going to do a ton of damage on that second shot. Hunting rifle's just amazing. You could snipe people from distance. You could use it up close and hit a headshot on someone and do crazy damage. This is what I've used to, like, do some of my highest damage games. Hunting rifle is what I pick up if I can't find the S tier weapon that I'm about to show you. Hunting rifle is definitely my backup. And like this tier list, this is typically how I would approach things. If I can't find the blunderbuss, which is the S tier weapon in my opinion, then I get the hunting rifle. If I can't find that, I get the revolver. If I can't find the revolver, I get the pistol. And so on and so forth. The blunderbuss, I think, is the best weapon in the game, which really surprised me because when I initially played this game, I didn't think much of it. Blunderbuss is insane. There's kind of a hidden reason why it's also the best. Yes, it does a lot of damage. Yes, it has really good range. Yes, it has 1 ammo capacity, so it benefits from that perk that I talked about. Reload time's good. The reason that it is so insane is that this thing shoots logs. This thing is like the size of the bullet that you shoot seems to be just massive, and it basically makes it impossible to miss. Like that, this is the opposite of the saw gun, and especially the crossbow. You can't miss with this thing. Like, you're guaranteed to get headshots with it. That's why it's so crazy. Like, if you look at the actual reticle, it's quite big. And if you connect with an enemy's head at all, it counts as a full headshot. And it's nuts. Like, the hunter's rifle is really, really good, but you have to be fairly precise with it. The reticle's quite tight. The blunderbuss is not. The blunderbuss shoots like a shotgun. which is basically what a blunderbuss is, even though that looks more like a flintlock. But I don't know my pirate weapon history. But it's very crazy, super ridiculously accurate, very forgiving, high damage, high range, best weapon in the game for sure. And to illustrate my point, which I know I'm kind of talking out of my butt here while I'm filming this video, but you will see it in the next video after this. I did 170,000 damage in a single game using a blunderbuss. I believe my highest game was 87,000, which was using only a common blunderbuss throughout the match. And when I got a legendary blunderbuss in a match, I did 176,000, and I could have done a lot more, but the demon player like gave up towards the end of the match and basically like stopped playing. So I probably could have easily broken the 200,000 barrier, and each headshot was doing upwards of 3,000 damage, I believe. So it's insane. and like I said, you're dealing all that damage, and it's easy as hell to hit headshots. Like, it's so easy. So the blunderbuss is crazy. Blunderbuss S tier, in my opinion. Once again, description below will have the link to this. So if you want to make your own tier list, whether it's to post it in the comments or share it with someone else, you could do that. Otherwise, let me know in the comments what you think. Like, follow, subscribe, all whatever the heck they do here on YouTube. And let me know if you think this list sucks or not. I'm sure there will be people who disagree. And again, before I go, I want to remind you, all these weapons are viable, especially if you're accurate and can hit your shots. This is purely a personal preference thing. But hey, I'm all up for discussion, so let me know what you think in the comments below. Thanks for watching.